You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's America's Next Top Model After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's America's Next Top Model After Show.
Top model fans, we are doing another breakdown of America's Next Top Model. Bing is for doing, and we're doing it up in here with the beautiful Emma Kay across from me. I'm Amanda Fields, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about on this episode, right?
Definitely.
This was an exciting one, I think, because they get to shoot by themselves. Oh,
finally.
They've been shooting in teams of 2, teams of 3, you know, boys and girls, which is kind of cool and sexy and everything, but it's ready. It's time for the girls and the guys to bring it on their own, right?
Exactly, and I think it's time for them to become creative and get their hands-on, have more hands-on experience, you know, shooting the camera, organizing, everything, you know, coordinating, so... Yeah. It was awesome to see them.
They wore a lot of hats this episode. No pun intended. Okay, so at first we kind of see them back at the house. And Corey was the big winner from last week for the gender roles switch video. And so he felt bad that Gianna was almost out. So he invites her to the tire suite, and... you know, who decides to just help her out in the guest closet picking out some clothes? But Phil, thank you, Phil. She didn't need help picking out clothes, but you decided to see her change.
But I love the way Corey handles the whole situation and carries himself. I don't think I've seen him confrontational with any of the housemates, and he handles the situation perfectly, telling Phil, you know, no, you can't take that.
Yeah.
I think you need to leave now.
Yeah, doesn't he say, Phil, it's not your time. It's not your time in the tire suite, so it's time for you to go. But they discussed something this episode. Well, not they. All of the contestants have brought this up this episode, or at least most of them, that Phil has ADHD, and I don't know if it was just me. I don't know what you guys think out there, but Emma, did you hear anyone mention that before?
No, I think this was the first time I heard about it, and when Corey brought it up, I actually thought he was joking. But when I heard the other roommates bring the same thing up, I had to think about it for a second, that they're not joking about it. And seeing him and how he was acting in front of the camera when they were coordinating the photo shoot, he seemed a little bit off track.
Right, and he even admitted it himself in his one-on-one interview that he does have ADHD, and that's cool. I think it's strong to, like, admit what you got going on in your life to people, because everybody has their own issues. Some of them are more obvious than others, but, you know, that was one of those things that you wouldn't really know until you got to know a person.
Exactly.
So maybe this has taken a few weeks to sort of come out. But, yeah, it's cool that he's owning it, I think.
Definitely.
So, you know, they have this whole dynamic in the house of Jeremy and Jordan. He's still got this massive crush on her. He tries to flirt with her. He tries to, like, make little jokes and stuff, but she's kind of getting to the point where she's kind of fed up with it now, right? Because she's like, dude, I keep telling you I have a boyfriend.
Exactly.
So you have this dynamic, will they, won't they? Is she still going to be with that boyfriend back home? But, yeah, she's not having any of it.
I mean, I could see how he feels as well, because they've been working together in a lot of the photo shoots where
That's right.
You know, they're closer then some of the other photo shoots were, I mean, they're making out, so
Yes.
it would make sense why him as a male, not that, males are any different.
Well, wait a minute. 19-year-old males are different. They're,
would get sprung on a girl. So
Yeah.
it makes sense. And she has to understand that it's a competition and sparks happen. So
Yeah, and
he's
got
19.
he's got
He
some
will get
sparks.
over it.
Yes. But I don't know. Maybe he's going to compare all of the other girls in his life to Jordan. Girls, you got a lot to live up to with that.
I have a question for all the people who aren't flirting and don't have a couple relationship in the house, how they feel about the whole thing, because you have Nina and Chris, and you have Gianna and Phil, and then you have Jeremy and Jordan, even though they're not together, but there's that chemistry or some tension.
Yeah, tension, definitely. Yeah, the rest of the people
So-
in the house, like,
How
are
do all
they...
the single people feel in the house?
Yeah, I mean, maybe some people are just, like, not really into anybody else in the house. Maybe they, I know Kanani has a little 1.5-year-old child at home, so she's probably more focused on the kid instead of trying to, like, hook up with somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of Chris and Nina, their, dynamic is that Nina feels for Chris. She's, like, the only one that has, like, sat down with him and really let him bare his soul to her. And that's been really good for Chris at some points. But in this episode, it finally comes to a boiling point. Nina, she tries to deal with him and tries to, like, rein him in like a crazy horse or something. Like, come on, calm down. But this time she couldn't calm him down.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, I mean, he's totally head over heels for her, but she really,
I don't think that's a very healthy relationship. I mean,
No.
especially if you guys are competing against one another, and at the end of the day, it's still a competition.
That's right.
So you have to win for your place, and I feel like Nina is taking a lot of the emotional burden from Chris, and it's draining. So at the end of the day, it comes out in your photos, even if that fight didn't happen, that argument between them, sitting there and listening to someone's negative, taking their negative energy is bad for yourself, because now all of a sudden your mood goes down and you start acting differently too, and it will show up in the competition sooner or later.
Emma, that's a really good point, because I think maybe Nina is one of those people that's like a healer, or that's her personality, to be more mothering of other people and try to, like, help them out. But there's only so far you can go without it affecting your performance, affecting your mood, and affecting just your health overall. Like, you can't help someone so much that you start deteriorating. Well, your
Because
pictures.
at the end of the day, that person's gonna cleanse that out of their system, walk out of the room feeling refreshed because they got it off their chest. But now you have this,
Now I have this,
burden dumped on you that you have to deal with.
I have this image of her being his therapist, and he's, like, laying on the couch. Like, oh, Nina, today I have a lot to tell you. And she's like, well, how does that make you feel? Well, and then we see the male models trying to, like, stir up some, pranks in the house. They're just being boys, basically.
You guys are horrible.
Oh, taping up all the girls' clothes to, like, their bed and the ceiling and the wall, and, like,
I was expecting shaving cream, shampoo, gel, honey, something. What were
something,
you-
just tape.
Call us next time if you guys want a prank.
Yeah, but at least that one was like, okay, they didn't really, like, ruin any of their stuff. It was just sort of a weird surprise. And okay, all the girls were in there like, what? Like, they were in there, but they were all in their bathrobes. And then there was a different part of the house where the girls are talking about, like, well, we have to stick together as a team.
So did they go back in the bathtub, or what?
Yeah, I don't know if that was in, like, what order that was happening in, really. But they do show them talking. And I don't know if this was, like, because they don't have enough places to take a bath in the house. And why are they all taking a bath at the same time in the same bathtub? I don't know what was going on, but I have a feeling that maybe one of the people working on the show were like, "Oh, you guys, do you feel like taking a bath together?" Like,
Again?
Yeah. You could just wear your bikinis. It'll be cool. Like, what? I don't know.
That
seemed
was really awkward.
Yeah, like
I wrote down, I said, all 3 girls in one tub.
it seemed planned to me. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm not someone that, if you're just living with a bunch of roommates, if you're just going to go hop in the bathtub with them.
And, this brings up a good point because speaking with eliminated contestants, they've sort of expressed the same theories about the show and how the producers
Well, they want to make it interesting.
Direct the show and how it's a reality show, and it's heartbreaking to see that because you want to see people who deserve to win,
right?
To really win. You don't want to see the show fabricated where it's more of a popularity contest or
right, exactly.
It's for them to put someone on the show and to have them go into the last episode because they bring drama or whatever it may be. But this episode, specifically bathtub scene, was obvious that this is fabricated. You don't have 3 girls in one bathtub talking about.
I mean, I can understand how they would maybe all be in the bathroom, like one girl doing her hair or one girl painting her fingernails or something, and
it was a little,
but not all in the. I mean, come on now.
Well, it was a little bit of sexist because the guys, when they're talking about doing the prank, Jeremy's holding the boxing. What was that called?
A boxing glove?
No,
I don't remember this. Help me out, Emma.
It was, they're a little bit more masculine, and the girls are cute, and
right. They're like painting a picture of like
yes.
the different sides of their personalities, but we might as well bring this up now because we're on the topic of the house. This happens a little later in the episode, but okay. So the same guys that just decide to tape up all the girls' stuff in their rooms. They also decide to scare the girls in the middle of the night by bringing in little clown dolls, and one of them like plays music if you wind it up, which
I hope they didn't bring that with them.
My first thought was, where did they get the clown dolls? Did they just have them sitting around in the house? Did they go shopping for them and spend money on clown dolls? I think someone must have given it to them. That was my...
Possibly,
like,
but that was
who gave them those clown
horrible.
dolls? And, I mean, it seems innocent enough, dolls, but some people have real fears of those things, and to play with those fears, it does really bother some people. I mean, for someone, it could be a snake. For someone else, it's a clown. Who knows? But to give Kanani that in the middle of the night, in the dark, a little sound of like a circus kind of song, and then she wakes up and there's a little clown doll next to her face. That's traumatizing for her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were like, that's so funny. And it's like, you guys, come on, grow up a little bit, right? Did you feel like I felt when you watched it, like, oh no, where did those dolls come from?
No, I just thought they were horrible.
They were horrible. It was just a devious plan to begin with, I thought. Well, our first challenge of the episode, Kelly Catrone joins all of the models out on a farm. And they're probably thinking, oh my gosh, what are we doing on a farm? What's happening? My first thought before I knew what the challenge was, oh, they're going to do something like Polo Ralph Lauren, maybe on a horse. Maybe they're going to do like Tommy Hilfiger where it's a big group shot. I can imagine them taking a picture of all of them together and saying, oh, who stands out the most. And, I mean, that could be interesting. But I liked that they brought out Jackie Fraser Swan, designer of Emerson by JFS. So her great-great-grandfather is Ralph Waldo Emerson. So her line is called Emerson in honor of him. And the models have to break up into teams and each create every aspect of the photo shoot from beginning to end. And my first thought, again, is, okay, who does that? Who expect the models to plan things like that? Usually not. I mean, unless your photo shoot's really on a budget. You
But
know?
I liked the fact that they were planning because you're more aware of your surroundings and you're more into the photo because you're putting in more effort and you're working together so you feel less judgment and people looking at you. So I thought they did a great job.
They did, and I think it is cool to immerse the models in that world, and they get to kind of experience the different aspects of, you know, styling the wardrobe, picking out who wears what, and, you know, deciding what the concept is of the photo and what props they're going to use and how they're going to pose. I mean, that does make you a more intelligent model. And as Tyra was saying a couple of episodes back to Jordan, you know, I don't want to hear any excuses anymore about you not understanding a challenge or not understanding what goth is. You know, models need to be smart. They need to know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, ask questions. So she was like, you're going to be the model that asks questions on the photo shoot. So this is like definitely a challenge to ask a lot of questions, and hopefully they could. I mean, I had a feeling they at least had a little bit of assistance just off camera. I mean, because I don't know how to do a flixel, do you?
Well, I'm sure they had a tutorial beforehand.
Yes. But I thought the photos were really good.
They were.
They were really
They were
strong.
very creative.
So they had to create something called a random act of modeling, where Tyra described it as being in a model pose, but you're doing something of like a real world activity of like being on the phone or doing dishes or something like that. So since Corey got the best video last week, he got to be a team leader. And then the next runner-up for best video for that commercial. Okay, best video. Corey, and then Kanani, and then Dawn. They were the top 3 from last week, so they got to be the team leaders. So Corey picks Gianna, and it goes like each one picks one, then Kanani picks Renee, then Dawn picks Marvin, and it goes like that. So we end up with Corey with Gianna, Phil, Chris together. Kanani picks Renee and Jordan, so it's just the 3 of them. And then Dawn gets Marvin, Nina, and Jeremy. And Kanani actually
Passes on Jeremy.
Yeah, she could have picked Jeremy. She's like, pass. So, yeah. I mean, I guess that was a good choice because he's not as strong of a model to give those really strong expressions in his eyes and stuff like that. But yeah, that was interesting that she just didn't give him a chance. She's like, I've already been in a picture with you, okay? It didn't
Well, you
work
give
out
them
so well.
choices. I think they're going to, pick who they feel comfortable working with.
Right. And it was cool how they all had really different concepts to sell these clothes. And the whole point of it was, we want you to create a really strong image that sells the brand, right? It's gonna be for a potential campaign or their idea of what the campaign should be to sell the Emerson clothes. And Kelly Catrone makes it clear that Emerson is a women's wear line. So the women's clothes are from Emerson. The men's clothes, however, are just some pieces that the show has pulled together for the men to wear that are more of like sort of the accessory in the scene. Like they're just there to be with the girls, but they're not the focus of the clothes. So when they're getting ready for the shoot, what does Phil do? Did you notice?
He cut off the sleeves. I mean, he was running around like a chicken with the head cut off, wondering what is he doing? What is he wearing? He doesn't like anything. He can't fit into it. And then he decides to cut off the sleeves of a designer shirt. Who does that?
Phil does that. And I thought that was hilarious that you just said he was running around like a chicken with his head cut off at a farm. Oh, Phil. Oh, my God. That was really funny, Emma. Okay. So, Corey's team, not surprisingly, right, decides that they're going to go with a alien who landed on the farm from planet Androgyny. Corey's going with the Androgyny. And the other models in the shoot are people that already live on the farm and who discover him there.
Mm-hmm. The couple.
Now,
And I have no idea what Phil was doing in the background.
was Corey wearing a women's
Dress.
dress?
Yes.
I mean, if I were him, I mean, I understand he's the team leader, but, you know, his whole challenge has been to be more masculine, right? So I don't know if I would put myself in a dress right away after he just did so well being more masculine. Well, he did dress up as a woman in the last challenge, but it was more of a restraint. Like he could have gone more drag with it, but he held back a little. So I don't know. I think that was kind of a setback for him because he had been.
I actually liked the photo.
You did?
I did because I got to see what he envisioned. I think the elements didn't really blend in and make the photo come to life like how he wanted to.
Yes,
but I did like him just excluding everyone else.
If it were
in
just
his element.
You're right. If it were just a picture of him by himself, it would have been a really good shot. It could have been a top photo. But because of all the other things happening in the background, Gianna was in a really cute little dress. It was more understated. It was like a little gray knee-length dress with long sleeves.
I didn't like it on her at all.
Now, she has more of a sexy look, and they made her just unsexy. It was very like, okay, you're in the background. It was a background type of dress to me. It could have been more striking on maybe perhaps a different model. I don't know, but I don't know. It's kind of just a fade into the background dress. Chris was standing there with Gianna being like the couple on the farm that notices the alien coming down, Corey. And then Phil's taking the photo, but then he decides to run into the shot as he's taking it. So he's like setting it on a timer, I guess. He's just running in the background like away from this alien, but it doesn't really make any sense.
It was a motion picture.
Yeah.
Like a photo shoot.
Dude, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that decision was. And then he does something that is just really dumb. Did you see what happens?
When he throws a rock at the fence and breaks it?
Yes. So he's not only taken apart a designer shirt when he's not a seamstress. You know, he's not someone that sews the sleeves on and can take them off with a seam ripper. Apparently, he just cut them off. Then he, like you said, he had a rock or something. I think it was a rock. Just gets frustrated with the photo shoot, chucks it at the fence breaks. I don't even know he was trying to throw it at the fence. He was just throwing it to throw it. I don't know what Phil was doing, but it broke the fence, and that's damaging property. And Kelly even said, excuse me, but that is damaging the property here, and that's going to affect your final result. So Phil's not having a good day. He got up on the wrong side of the bed. Everything's not really going his way.
It might be that Gianna is not giving him attention anymore and is concentrating on herself, so now he's losing it.
Good call. Yes. All these couples that had like sort of almost happened and maybe not, maybe they are, they've been not really giving each other the time of day this episode, or so it seems. Well, that's to be seen. I guess we'll find out more as we go, but people were really concerned with Phil's ADHD this episode. They keep talking about it again and again. I don't know about you, but I was thinking that he was in danger of going home because of all this behavior problems. And because they highlighted the ADHD so much and talked about it at length, I thought that was going to be like brought up in the judging later, and that was going to be like something that Tyra would ask him about and say, well, do you think you can stay in this competition? So I was worried, like, oh my gosh, are they going to throw him out because of that? I hope not, because a lot of people are able to live with something like that and still do their job. Were you thinking he might go home because of that?
No, I thought he might go home because of his performance and not delivering what we've seen him, do. And it might have been, and I can't say he was out of his element because the competition was Phil. Like Phil, I see Phil embodying the competition, and I was surprised that at how he was acting and the fact that he didn't perform up to his standards how he usually does.
Well, I think if maybe he was on a different team or if they had a different concept, he could have been utilized better in that photo.
I think if he was paired up with Gianna instead of Chris, he would have acted differently.
I think so. I
I
so.
think
Maybe
he was
Chris
trying to
taking-
get attention from the whole team because he was more, by himself and left out.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe if Chris were taking the photos instead of Phil, it could have gone a whole different way. Well, but then do we really want Chris behind the camera? I don't know. But another thing I noticed is that it looks really cold on that farm. Especially when they like gathered the models together to talk to them and their teams, and they were just standing there like shivering in front of Kelly and in front of Jackie Fraser Swan. They were just shivering. It looked like they were suffering a little bit out there on the farm. But hey, models do have to do that kind of stuff. That's actually the real world, like. It seems like they always want to shoot ahead of the season because they have to prepare everything to come out for the magazines. Like, the September issues are out right now. They probably shot all of that stuff in April, May. That's a little early, but okay, maybe May, June. But that would be at the latest. So it depends. Like, sometimes they're shooting, like, the spring stuff in the winter. So they're shooting, like, tank tops and shorts and bikinis outside in the cold, but it looks sunny, so it looks like it's warm. And then they shoot some of these wintry clothes in the summer months because they have to get these pictures done for like the November, December issues of these magazines. So this isn't actually unrealistic. So I was like, okay, it's a challenge, but they're rising to the challenge. So Kanani's team is next, and they have this concept. It's Kanani, Renee, and Jordan, so an all-girl team. They decide that they're 3 orphans who get adopted by a crazy family, and they're fabulously fixing a tractor. But I don't know that they look like they're actually fixing anything. They just look like they're like, here I am on the tractor. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna drape myself over a tire.
Well, but Jordan had, I think, a tool in her hand. She was trying to fix the tire when she was leaning.
She did? Okay.
I think she did.
Okay, you're probably right. I think I missed that. Okay, good.
I think, though, they had the prop, the concept, and it was just delivering and fitting in with the prop in the picture. So they did a good job.
Yeah, and I mean, it does seem like a kind of a crazy concept, but it ended
Aren't
up.
all pictures?
Yeah,
hyped?
you're exactly right.
Pictures.
I mean,
crazy.
And it's funny because a lot of the times the concepts even contradict themselves. They could say, "Oh, we want you to be very masculine, but also be feminine." So they'll give you different directions, and you're just like, "Okay, we'll do it." So Dawn's team is the last team to shoot, and they have Dawn, Marvin, Nina, and Jeremy. So it's a big team. So they decide that, is it Jeremy that's the farm owner?
Yes.
Jeremy.
And Nina's the wife.
Yes. Jeremy is the rich farm owner, and he has 2 farm worker guys who were secretly sleeping with his wife, Nina. And they have this whole sexy dynamic of Dawn and Marvin posing with Nina, and I thought that looked really good. She looked really good in that dress.
She did.
Oh, one of my favorite looks from head to toe on her this time. And maybe it's because they got to pick it out themselves and do their own hair and makeup. I don't know, but it all worked for me.
And I think they were the best ones out of all 3 groups, just because the concept they had was realistic.
Yes.
And it was something that you can't see in the picture.
Well, and they made the clothes look so good in that one shot with Nina and Dawn and Marvin because Nina's really angling her body very well, showing off the dress. So that really, and the men are off to her sides. So they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and showcasing the dress. However, they take another picture where Nina's behind the camera, and it's Dawn, Marvin, and Jeremy. And it's an awesome photo, but none of the clothes are the Emerson line. Because it's only women's wear clothes. So they do a good job, but it's like, oh no, come on, male models. It's like a Zoolander moment again for Jeremy. Like, you know, come on, guys, get it together. You're selling the dresses, okay?
I think they got too into themselves.
Yeah, like, oh, snap, that's a good photo. Yeah, we did it. We don't have to take any more pictures. We know that's the best. It was a strong photo.
It was.
It was awesome.
But Nina was missing.
Yeah, the clothes that you're trying to sell were not in the picture. So, yeah, it was not the best because of that, but it was composed so well, and they were posing very nicely. And I think that's a shame because Jeremy actually did a really good job, and he, you know, had been flailing around a bit. So, Kanani's team was the big winner because they sold the clothes the best.
Even though I think if Dawn's team had Nina in the second photo, I think they would have won.
They would have won for hands down, for sure. So they sort of just
lesson learned, guys.
Yeah, they just didn't do what they were supposed to do according to the challenge. They missed an important element. So do you want to tell everybody out there listening about this cool little movie called Serial Buddies?
Yes, guys. So we have Serial Buddies. It's featuring Maria Menounos. You guys could go onto iTunes and rent the movie for $4.99, and it's only $1 more to buy it, $5.99. It helps us out in the studio, keeps the lights on, and keeps, you know, brings more after shows for you guys to watch. Rate, comment. You guys can also log on to iTunes, rate, comment, America's Next Top Model. Give us 5 stars. We want to know your comments, your theories about the show.
Yes, please bring it on. And YouTube as well. You know,
Yes.
we always put our videos up there too. So if you're on YouTube or iTunes, comment away. I'm like, oh no, now I'm scared. Okay, no. I think we're bringing it today, Emma.
So are you
got it
ready
going
to
on.
go into the challenge?
Oh yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
before we do that, I wanted to talk about Jordan's apology when she
Yes.
apologizes to the girls. I didn't know
Please.
how sincere she was with the apology, not sincere, but if she really felt like she did something wrong. I think she was just apologizing just to apologize and get hopefully clear the tension with the girls to start working with them. But I wanted to see what you think and what the viewers think with Jordan's apology, and hopefully you guys can go on and comment, and we will definitely discuss it next week.
That's right, because now maybe she didn't know that it was so wrong the day that it happened. Maybe she was under some sort of impression that if you win and you get to be in the Tyra suite, you can really be on the phone as long as you want. Technically you can, but people don't really do that because it's rude. And it makes people kind of not like you in the house. However, maybe since it's been some time, maybe it's been weighing on her heart that, okay, actually that was wrong. And she's 19, so, I mean, it's old enough to know better, but still she's young. So I understand how you can make a mistake like that. I mean, when you're 18, 19, everybody makes mistakes. So I want to give her the benefit of the doubt myself, and I thought that was good that she tried to recover from it and apologize. I don't know if it was just to make herself look better or if she really felt sorry, but at least she said it. It's better than not saying anything. So I think she realizes that she could have done it differently, but she can't go back and change it.
Definitely.
Oh, Jordan. Well, it's hard being on top, isn't it? She's always the best, like, she keeps being the best runway model, the best well, she had a challenge in the commercial being goth, but she takes such great photos that maybe she's just like, you know, these people are just going to kind of not like me because I'm doing a good job. Maybe, you know, if I try to be on their good side, maybe things will be more cool in the house. I don't know, but they have this other photo shoot coming up. Johnny Wuchek comes in and introduces a really cool photographer, okay? Everybody out there, I know you noticed this when you watched it, but I have to say, Franco Lacosta shot for Italian Vogue. Oh! I don't know. I know you guys know Vogue. I know you've been watching Top Model. But in case you guys don't know, of all the Vogues, Italian Vogue is regarded as the top fashion magazine. They're the ones that push the envelope, that have the coolest photo shoot spreads, that maybe in America people would not want to buy the magazine for some reason. And maybe it'd be too edgy, too shocking, but Italian Vogue does it, and they're ahead of us usually with style. And when it's just the truth. I feel like in Europe they're a little bit ahead for some reason. But the photographers really make that happen. And for Franco Lacosta to shoot these models, I mean, I got really excited, okay? I was geeking out over it. Can you tell? So, okay, they have a challenge of nail art. Makes me wish I got my nails done today. I'm in between manicures. But they each have a theme. And it reminds me of their social media aspect, because when you look at Instagram, you see a lot of girls posting pictures of their nails, right? And the nail art. So that was kind of smart that they tied that together. And each model gets to shoot alone with this photographer, so that's cool. And they each have nail art that's inspired by an element of the show, like smize or the word top model backwards.
Tyra.
So Corey, we could start with him. He
Actually,
that's
why
right.
don't we start off with the girls?
I got a little
So
excited
we
there.
have pictures for you guys to look at as well, and we could look at it because it has so much detail in it.
So let's start with Renee. So her theme was the word top model backwards. And I don't really know how you would be inspired by that being backwards. My first thought is, I guess I would turn my hand backwards, but that might look weird. But I really like this shot. I know that the judges keep talking about the model's necks being long, but when you're finding your light, sometimes that means that you push your face forward, so maybe that creates a shadow on your neck. So you can't always win with the judges. You know, they're giving you all these different instructions, but I think Renee looks fierce in this picture.
She does. I like the picture, but at the same time, I feel like there's something missing.
Something missing? Okay, tell us more.
With the shoulder. I think if we got to see a little bit more of her body.
I know what it is. Maybe if her shoulder wasn't so high up,
Yes.
she would have relaxed it, and maybe
Because it doesn't seem like it's natural. It seems like it's a little bit tense.
forced. Yes. I think I was so drawn in by her face that I forgot about the rest of it.
No, I mean, her face is great. But I like the lips. I think.
Even if they would have cropped out the rest of her, I know it wouldn't have helped sell the nail polish, but her face is so strong, and this is like one of the best expressions for me that she's done. But I see what you mean, and I think you're spot on that there's something missing. I think if she would have relaxed her shoulders a little bit, it could have been more feminine and still been strong.
Sexy, but strong at the same time.
Yes. Perfect. Let's
So-
move on to the next girl. Oh, Gianna.
I like her photo.
I know. Me too. I think Gianna is beautiful, and I wish they would stop giving her such a hard time. But maybe they're giving her a hard time because they know she has so much potential. I think she could be a fighter in this competition.
Definitely, but I think she was struggling a little bit during the photo shoot. She couldn't really get into the element.
Do you know what her theme was? I don't remember based on the nails.
I have written down Tooch.
Oh, okay. Booty tooch.
Tooch.
Okay, I see that. But you can't really tooch in a close-up. You can, but who's going to see it?
Exactly.
But I really, kudos to the makeup artists on this challenge. I thought that and they all included a little bit of the yellow, but I don't know if it's like some of them got lucky with the makeup and some of them didn't. But this makeup is amazing.
It is, and the way she has her fingers really puts an effect on the eyes, the eye makeup, and it makes it stand out more.
I think there is one element that could have been different. I think it's already great, and especially if you're trying to sell nail polish. I mean, this does show off the nails very well. The only thing I could think about changing, though, is her hands are such a focus. Maybe they could have been angled differently. They just look like really huge hands. They almost take away from her beautiful face. And I know it's about the nails, but there could have been maybe another way to position her hands to...
I think it's the close-up. I think if it wasn't still close-up, you would be able to see more of the picture.
More of her arms.
Exactly.
Good point. Okay, next lovely lady. Nina. Now, she had some trouble because Chris and Nina were fighting. They were not happy on the set, and she was distracted by him running around while she was trying to do her photo. So she sort of let that get to her.
Which is what I mean by the whole burden and having someone else's problem on your shoulders, because it's in your head. But, you know, putting that aside, Nina just was not comfortable in the whole photo shoot. And I think it partially had to do with Chris, but she didn't get so lucky in the whole makeup. And
it partially had to do with the photographer. He was a little hard on her, more so than some of the other people. I mean, he was very specific, which you have to be to get the result that you want. I don't think he was terribly rude. I can tell he's very talented. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get results. But some of these models, you know, they're less experienced than the others and don't know how to take it yet. So maybe she was a little caught off guard. I think he even said, "I hate your mouth," or "I hate your lips." So, I mean, what are you supposed to do when someone says that? I mean, I know you could be more constructive with the model and say, okay, maybe you soften your lips. Maybe you part them a little bit. So maybe that's what she was trying to do.
But you can't really see the nail polish, which is the problem.
You can't see the nail polish. You see more of like the underside of her arm.
I mean, the only thing that I look at when I look at the photo is the yellow eyeliner that they have on her eyes, which the other girls had more makeup on. But hers is because she doesn't have anything going on, and the hand is kind of like off to the side of her mouth. The only thing you can't concentrate on is the earring and the eye makeup.
I was going to say, this looks like a jewelry ad.
Yes.
Instead of nail polish. All I see is that earring. And if you're trying to sell the earring, awesome. But the rest of it, I mean, she's done better than this, and I think she's evolving as a model. This was not her strongest shot, but I think she can do better than this.
Definitely.
Okay, next lady.
Actually,
oh, we have the boys to talk about. That's right. Pardon me.
We're saving the top.
Oh, yeah, we're saving some of the
model
top
for you
shots for
guys.
later. Okay, so we'll see some of the boys. Corey. Oh, incredible picture. This was inspired by Tyra. And he even got Tyra's expression.
Yes. I really, really like his shot.
However...
And I like the fact that he was like, I don't want to be too, you know, too masculine. And the photographer was like, no, you need to be.
Right.
And you're doing a great job.
Yeah, and he seemed... Corey seems like the best model so far at working with directions and taking direction well and understanding what they're asking him to do. And I can see that he's a performer. So I think there's a lot to come from him. And I don't know if anybody else noticed this watching at home, but I like that his hair is starting to grow back. Because, you know, the bald, that was a really strong statement. And I don't know if they're going to make him shave it, you know, later in the season or anything again. But I like the little bit of the buzz coming back, the little fuzz on his head. And I know, now, I don't think most of the time men would ever be modeling nail art, but he manages to do it. He manages to sell it. I'm interested in the nail art now.
But the thing is that I could see the masculinity in the picture and then the feminine the nails, and he does a great job mixing the two.
My only problem with this, and this is not Corey's fault, I don't like the makeup. I thought that yellow eyebrow, I understand each of them has to have yellow, but that's like a lazy, like I can see his real eyebrow. So if you're going to do it, really mask the other eyebrow first, the real eyebrow, before you paint on I don't know. I didn't like the painted on yellow eyebrow. It distracts me.
I think they should have done something on the face, like the cheek or something, or
something.
The arm, the shoulder.
Yes, like an arm tattoo kind of thing would be cool. Okay, next boy.
Model.
Chris H. And Chris, where's the nails? I don't see the nails. I see a weird collar.
It looks like a snake.
Yeah.
Like his hand looks like a snake. I don't like anything. You can't see what's hanging from his nails, the chains.
And here's the other thing. I can see now why they don't use men's hands in jewelry unless it's a watch, but like feminine jewelry or nail polish. Because man hands look like man hands. It doesn't look good with the nail polish, especially because it's pink and purple.
And once again, it's like in the necklace, whatever he's wearing, the jewelry, you can't really see the nails. It's off to the side. He has it turned.
And it almost looks like it's someone else's hand entirely. It doesn't look like it's even connected to his body for some reason. Maybe because of the composition of the shot.
I think he had a great prop. He should have positioned his body differently.
He could have put his hands,
played with
the collar a little. I don't know. It was all a mess. I think that was a hot mess. I think that was the worst photo of the whole.
Did he get in a fight with a highlighter?
Oh! Yes, and he lost, obviously. He fought the highlighter, and the highlighter won. Oh, dear.
I think everyone's trying to pull a Dawn.
Okay, so here we have Dawn looking hot again.
I love this
Love it. Dawn, you're killing it. Dawn actually has this advantage of having tattoos.
Yes, he already has the props that come with it.
So he already had the tattoos, which already made it look good. And they gave him some killer nails that could have gone wrong, but he knew what to do, that you really can't do a lot. You let them speak for themselves.
Well, he was fierce.
Yeah.
So you have to have that emphasis on the nails and the background and everything. And I liked how they did the yellow, around his forehead, and it doesn't look sloppy.
No, and it somehow makes sense. And with his skin tone, the yellow looks really good at pops. And that necklace, I mean, this is the kind of thing that on some people will just look completely wrong and ridiculous. But Dawn manages to make it look like, oh, of course, doesn't every man dress like this every day? This is manly. Look at me. So he owns it.
I mean, he has a lot of things going for him, which people might see it as it was an advantage for him. You have the tattoos, you have the blue eyes, which is, the background has red, black, and blue, and it's making
very
his
striking.
eyes pop out.
Yes.
So he has a lot of things that are working for him in the picture, but at the same time, he delivered with his face.
And, he let the elements of the photo that needed to be sold, the nail art, speak for itself. He didn't try to fight with it like some of the other models. Here's Marvin. Marvin had a lot going on in this picture. I like his facial expression in it. I think if it was just from the shoulders up and you didn't see his hands, it would be a lot better. But the fact that he has to sell this nail polish, I kind of hate the colors that they picked for him. It doesn't look good with the skin. If they maybe picked like a green or a blue, it would be better.
It looks like he's upset, his facial expression, and the way he's holding his body in makes it seem like he just wants to get this over with.
He looks uncomfortable.
Yes.
He looks like, oh my gosh, okay, when is this going to be over? I hate these nails. Take them off my hands. Let me get out of here. But the judges love him, and I think he's a great model, but this picture doesn't make any sense.
No.
All right, next photo. We have the winner. Do we have it? Steve, do you have it? Do you have the last photo?
Is it Jordan?
Yes.
Yes! Spoiler alert. Just kidding. Jordan in the house. And her nails are all representing the different countries that Top Model is played in. And I think that all these countries actually have their own version of Top Model. And Kelly Catrone even said, "This is the picture that we have been waiting for the entire competition from you, Jordan." And I love this. I love this photo. And she got lucky with the hair and makeup again. Gianna had the yellow around her eyes. Jordan has the yellow around her eyes. And it doesn't look silly and foolish like on some of the other faces.
No, because once again, you have the blue eyes popping out, which draws attention to the eyes and not the makeup around it.
There's blue in her nails. There's blue light around her. And she doesn't have a crazy necklace to wear. She just has the nice little earrings. So it looked more like an actual nail art magazine photo instead of like, you know, a challenge from Top Model. Like a bad challenge photo. You know what I mean?
I like the photo, and, you know, I think it deserved to win the top photo.
Yes.
But I think the right, actually, the left arm, right from our view over
left?
here, her left, our right, should have been down because it seems a little bit too much up top.
Oh, like almost like she's like, I have a headache.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, I could see why you would say that, but maybe the photographer was directing her to do that. So I just love her face. And the judges were saying maybe if she would soften her neck a little bit, but sometimes you have to tense up your muscles to like get things in the right spot. So I think she did a great job. Now we have to wrap it up soon. So we'll get to the final results. Jordan has the highest score. Marvin is second. Corey is third. Chris is fourth. Dawn fifth. Renee sixth. Nina, 7th. Gianna is 8th, so she doesn't have to be in the bottom 3 this week. We find out 2 contestants go home.
Yes.
So they bring down Jeremy, Kanani, and Phil. And we didn't even talk about Phil. But Phil did not do so well in this competition, so much so that we kind of forgot even to cover his picture. Here's Jeremy. And do we have Kanani's photo too? So those are the bottom 3. Kanani got a little lost. She looked like she was tired. And I mean, I think it's a kind of a beautiful photo, but I guess they didn't really. Personally, I think the styling is wrong. The earrings, the necklace, the rings,
too much
happening. Too much happening.
I think they should have not put so much jewelry on her, but if her eyes were different in the photo, she would have won. She would not have been on the bottom.
I did not think that was a picture worthy of like a bottom score. So the first model out is Jeremy. The next model out is Kanani, which I don't understand. I'm kind of pissed off about it. You guys let us know how you feel. Phil stayed around. So we'll talk about that with you guys some more next time. But Miss Emma, where can everybody find you online?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at RealEmmaK.
You guys can find me, Amanda Fields, on Twitter and Instagram at The Runway Queen. Thank you for listening to us rant and rave about Top Model, and tune in next time.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.